Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna, everyone. We are starting a new chapter today, Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter number 16, text number 1 through 3. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Abhayam Sattva Samshuddhir Jnana Yoga Vyavasthitihi Danam Damascha Yaknascha Swadhyayastapa Arjavam Ahimsa Satyam Akrodhas Tyagah Shantir Apeshunam Daya Bhuteshva Aloluptvam Mardavam Hrir Achapalam तेजः क्षमा धृतिः क्षौचम् अद्रोहो नातिमानिता भवन्ति सम्पदं दैवीम् अभिजातस्य भारत. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, fearlessness, purification of one's existence, cultivation of spiritual knowledge, charity, self-control, performance of sacrifice, study of the Vedas, austerity, simplicity, non-violence, truthfulness, freedom from anger, renunciation, tranquility, aversion to fault finding, compassion for all living entities, freedom from covetousness, gentleness, modesty, steady determination, vigor, forgiveness, fortitude, cleanliness, and freedom from envy and from the passion for honor. These transcendental qualities, O son of Bharat, belong to godly men endowed with divine nature. Om Ajnanatimmirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshununmetam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. So we just heard the 26 divine qualities, 26 qualities of those who are of divine nature. And towards the end of this translation, and especially in the purport, Srila Prabhupada says that if one can cultivate these divine qualities, then one can attain liberation. So that is the result of this. And those who have these divine qualities, they act in the mode of goodness, and that is very auspicious. And this is how they start progressing on the path to liberation. Now, this chapter, the Supreme Lord is explaining both the divine qualities and also the demoniac qualities. He's giving us knowledge about the nature of such people, and what are their qualities, what are the advantages, and what are the disadvantages. Now, the qualities that we heard just now, the 26 qualities mentioned in these three verses, Prabhupada says, even Krishna says, they are transcendental qualities. That means they are not of material world. They are spiritual in nature. They are transcendental, beyond materialism. And these qualities can help one to progress spiritually. Of course, provided that is the goal of that person, to progress spiritually. Now, the very first quality Krishna talks about is fearlessness. Are we afraid? Are we fearful? Yes. The biggest fear people generally have is of death. No one wants to die. So, if one wants to become fearless, Prabhupada explains that if we depend on Krishna, if we have firm faith that Krishna is always with me, he's there in my heart as a super soul, he is there to guide, to be the witness, and also to give protection. So if one has that firm faith that he is my supreme father, Just like a little child wants to cross the road and is not trained, to do that on his own because he's still very young, little. But if he holds on to the finger of his father, then he is fearless because he knows the father is going to protect him and help him cross the road very easily without any danger. You see? So that is very, very important, that having that firm faith that Krishna is my Supreme Father and he is going to protect me. The next is purification of existence. And that is possible when we follow a process. Just like if I have some disease and I want to purify myself of that illness, then I need to follow the prescription of the doctor, because the doctor knows, and the doctor will, say, okay, take this medication, and it will also give, give some rules to follow. Like, say, supposing I have yellow fever, which is called jaundice, then definitely the doctor is going to say, don't eat anything because it's going to mess up your stomach, and just have sugarcane juice. That is how. So there are certain rules even in spirituality. So if we follow the process, we follow the rules and regulations, like not eating too much or too little, sleeping too much or sleeping too little, have good habits. So when we follow these rules, then gradually we are able to purify our existence. Then Krishna talks about cultivation of knowledge. And guess what? We are doing that right now. We are taking our knowledge from the Bhagavad Gita. And what is the purpose? The purpose is to understand the purpose of human life. Why are we here? Why are we in this human form? Why do we have a philosophical intelligence? What do we do with it? So the knowledge, when we cultivate knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, then we understand the purpose of human life. And the best thing is to open with to hear with an open mind, you know okay, let me hear what Krishna has to say in the Bhagavad Gita. Let me think about it, contemplate on it. Let me remove all my doubts. How? With the help of knowledge. So to be able to cultivate knowledge, we need to spend some time hearing. When we hear from bona fide source, and then we also take guidance, we get trained under the guidance of a teacher, spiritual teacher, then this cultivation of knowledge results in understanding the real purpose of life. Next quality that Krishna talks about is charity. Now, charity, usually people, they give charity based on how they feel, that whatever their emotional state is, but of course, we learn more in chapter 17 and 18, the right process of giving charity. It's very important to know, who are we giving charity to, you see? And because whatever charity we give, if it is misused, then we also face the karmic reactions. Say, for instance, I'm walking, and then here is this beggar, who is asking for money, that I'm very hungry, and I give the my money. And if supposing that beggar goes and uses my money to buy drugs or alcohol or whatever it may be, commit some sinful actions, then I also get the reaction. Why? Because I facilitated his sinful activity. So we have to be very careful to whom we give the charity. And here Krishna is not just talking about money for charity, he's also talking about charity of knowledge, distributing this knowledge. So when we give an option to our friends, relatives, neighbors, whoever it may be, let them know that there is a Bhagavad Gita class, where we learn, where we hear and we learn, and it is free of charge, of course, and there's nothing to join. It's just come and hear. So when we give an opportunity to others to receive this knowledge, that is also charity. You see, distribution of knowledge is also charity, helping others to break the cycle of birth and death. You see, so this is how we can help others. Now Krishna talks about self-control. So very difficult to do. Self-control. Guess what? It's possible only when there is proper training. You see, like we learned in chapter 2 also, that the senses, they are like wild horses. They are like wild horses, and they are running here, there, everywhere. Eyes want to see this, ears want to hear that, tongue wants to taste this. So the senses are wild, you see, but they need to be brought under control. And it's only the mind that can control the senses. But if the mind is not under control, how can the senses come under control? So, to control the mind, Krishna explains that we need to control the intelligence. When the intelligence is fed with knowledge of the Bhagavad Gita, then intelligence controls the mind and the mind controls the senses. This is called self control. You see, when that happens, then the spirit soul, which is in this body, which is like a chariot, then the passenger, the spirit soul, is safe because the senses are not running here, there, everywhere. So the in this age in which we are, which is such a fast age where there's so much going on, especially social media, effect of social media. I see little kids, even in the strollers, they are with the little phone, playing games and watching movies, etc., whatever it is. So the mind and senses can be controlled with mantra meditation. Excuse me. The meditation that we do in chanting the holy names of the Lord, those sound vibrations, they purify our heart, our mind, our senses, our intelligence, and then we are able to control the senses, because these sound vibrations are very, very powerful. They are names of the holy name. I mean, the Supreme Lord. They are the holy names of the Supreme Lord, right? And just like the Supreme Lord is most powerful, his holy name also is very powerful. Next, Krishna talks about sacrifice. Sacrifice, especially for this age, is chanting the holy names. In the scriptures, there's a very nice verse which says, Krite yad dhyayato Vishnum tretayam yajato moke. That in Satya Yuga, the process for self-realization was meditation. In Treta Yuga, it was fire sacrifice. In Dwapar Yuga, it was elaborate worship in the temples. But Kalau Tad Hari Kirtana. In Kali Yuga, the process is chanting the holy names of the Lord. This is how we can become self-realized. This is how we can understand the purpose of human life and be able to come out of the cycle of birth and death. Next, Krishna talks about study of Vedas, which we are doing right now, right? Bhagavad Gita is the essence of the whole Vedic scripture. And we are trying to understand that. We are trying to hear and learn and think about it and understand it. Next comes a very heavy word that Krishna uses is austerity. Who likes to be austere? No one likes to be austere. When it's a weekend, we want to, wake up late, maybe at noon or maybe one in the afternoon, relax or whatever it is, because we have worked so hard Monday through Friday that we want time off on weekends. But no, austerity is very important, because when we perform austerity, we are able to control the mind and the senses. So in the next chapter, we will learn, Krishna gives us the specific instructions on austerity of mind, body, and speech. But again, training is necessary. There's nothing, um, especially in spirituality, we cannot just randomly do things that we feel like doing. No, there are certain rules and regulations given to us by Krishna, and we need to follow that. When we follow that, that is when we get the result. And just like which means training is necessary. So, just like anything new we want to learn, first of all, we approach a bona fide teacher, learn and get trained. And after that, there is constant practice required, right? Just like those sports people who participate in, you know, I don't remember what is it called. Big events, sports events when they like Olympics or what
Olympics.
it's called. You see, when they participate, it's not just they get up in the morning and say, "Hey, I'm going to go participate." No, they have to practice every day, at least 8 to 10 or 12 hours every day for years before they become qualified to even participate in it, right? Similarly, in spirituality, if we want to become self realized, then constant practice is important. Next quality that Krishna talks about is simplicity. Simple living, high thinking. Have you ever heard that before, right? Simple living means not complicating our lives such that we become so materialistic that we have no time for spirituality. No, simple living. But unfortunately, nowadays people they believe in high living and simply thinking, which means practically no thinking at all. No, we need to go above body concept of life. We need to go above thinking about just my body, my body, my body. Need to think about the spirit soul. Feed the soul. How? By mantra meditation. Only then we will be able to experience satisfaction, peace of mind, and happiness. Bhagavad Gita is giving us the peace formula. So if we follow Bhagavad Gita and put it into practice, then we don't have to run around looking for happiness. We will automatically be happy and satisfied. Then Krishna talks about non-violence. Non-violence, which means not hurting anybody, right? But it also means not arresting the progressive life of living entities, which means not killing animals for personal sense gratification, because the animals also have a spirit soul and they also have a super soul within them. You see, they are going through their evolutionary cycle. We are nobody to, break their progression in that evolutionary. We cannot check their progression just because of we want to enjoy our senses. No. There is so much there. Krishna has provided us with ample food in the form of grains, fruits, dairy products. There's so much vegetarian food available to eat. So there's no need to kill animals. Then one may say, hey, I don't kill the animals. I just go to the store and buy it. Well, because we are buying it, that is why the animals are being killed. So, non-violence means not to harm any living entity because they also have a spirit soul. Next is truthfulness. We've heard this phrase, honesty is the best policy. Have you heard that? Yes. We have heard that, but that doesn't mean being honest with others only. We got to be honest with ourselves also. Be honest. What am I doing in this human form of life? How much am I progressing? Be honest with ourselves and see how much more do I need to do to reach my goal in this human form of life. So be honest with self and with others. No need to distort the truth, not construe, interpretation for personal, interest. No, you have to be very honest, but the austerity is that when we speak the truth, it has to be very pleasing. We have to be pleasant. And it should be such that we are not agitating the mind of others. And besides that, that truth should be beneficial for that other person. Next comes another quality which is so difficult to follow: freedom from anger. How many of us struggle with anger? So, if we are struggling with anger, then it's important to understand, why do we get angry, right? Where does it come from? So, in chapter 2, Krishna explains that when the senses come in contact with sense objects, there is attachment. And then there is a desire to get what we have seen. And when that desire is not fulfilled, then anger arises. You see, then there is no control over senses and mind. You see, and even if one is provoked, one should check that anger. When we have so many expectations from others, which we should not, because everyone has the freedom of choice to do what they want to do, where they want to sit, what they want to eat, where do they want to go, what do they want to say, where do they want to, everyone has a freedom of choice. So we having expectations from others is definitely going to bring about anger in us. Why? Because expectations are never really met. Each individual is going to do what they want to do, right? So if we want to become free from anger, then it's important to understand that the senses need to be under control, because it starts with the senses. The senses see the sense objects and they want to enjoy it. You see, the problem with anger is that when a person gets angry, there's a chemical reaction in the body. The body gets polluted because of that chemical reaction. See, and that is very upsetting. It's hard to really think straight when a person is angry. It's just harmful. It does no good either to self or to others. So best thing is to regulate our senses so that one becomes free from anger. Next, Krishna talks about renunciation. People get very scared with this word. Oh, renunciation means, do I have to give up my family? Of course, some may be very happy to do that, get rid of the family. But that is not what renunciation Krishna is talking about. Renunciation is actually a state of mind, it's a state of consciousness, which means we are not attached to enjoying the fruits of our activities. That is renunciation. Tranquility. How do we achieve that? Tranquility. That is possible through mantra meditation. When we chant the holy names of the Lord, it helps us to become calm, peaceful, serene, satisfied. Yeah, there's so many benefits of just chanting the holy names of the Lord. Next, Krishna is talking in these 3 verses is aversion to fault finding. So difficult to do. The moment we see somebody, the mind starts thinking, what faults can I find in this person? Oh, I don't like this in this person, or maybe no. You see, we have no authority to find faults in others. If we are an authority, like we are principal of the school or teacher in the classroom, or the king or the head of the state, or temple president, or the spiritual master, they have an authority to find faults in their dependents. But they find faults not to put down the person, the dependent, but to help that person to improve in spiritual life. You see, that is the idea, because it is done out of love, not because I hate this person, so I'm going to find some faults. No. Those who have the authority, they do it for the good of the person. And before doing that, it is better to look within our own selves. First, improve ourselves, then think about improving others. Next, Krishna talks about is compassion for all living entities. Compassion is such a sweet quality. I think everybody appreciates compassion, right? I mean, when we meet somebody and we see that, oh, they are so compassionate towards us, immediately we get attracted to them, because everybody likes to be loved, everybody likes to be liked, right? Everybody likes to feel that compassionate nature of others. But how can we show compassion? Very simple. Give this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita to others. Because when we give this knowledge, they understand and they are able to get rid of their miseries and sufferings, and it helps them to be happy and peaceful. Then that is showing compassion. So we can show compassion in this way also. I remember once I was driving, and uh, all of a sudden a deer appeared, crossing the road. And that is so scary, crossing the road. And that was before there were a few cars before me. And I saw the deer crossing the road, and one car hit that deer, and the deer fell on the side of the road, struggling, because it was the last moment, was really crushed. So I had read this 17th chapter, verses 1 through 3, showing compassion. So I pulled over, and I started chanting loudly, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Because Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, anyone who hears my holy name at the time of death goes back to the spiritual world. That is compassion, showing compassion to all living entities. Very, very important. And that becomes possible only when we practice it ourselves. When we do that mantra meditation on a daily basis, we try hard to purify ourselves. Then there will be compassion that will be automatic. Then we don't have to force ourselves to be compassionate towards others. So, Krishna talks about gentleness, modesty. How is that possible? By avoiding abominable activities. Steady determination. We need training for that. It's not possible, that, oh, from tomorrow I'm going to be very steady in my spiritual life. I'm going to focus on determination. No, that's not possible. That's just theory part. But how do we actually come to that stage of steady determination? We need training for that. And when we associate with spiritually minded people, associate with those who hear Bhagavad Gita, who follow Bhagavad Gita, when we hear from them, we learn from them, then our faith increases. And then that faith gradually becomes very firm, and we start following the instructions of Bhagavad Gita. And then determination will be very steady. Why? Because our efforts are very sincere. And Krishna talks about vigor, forgiveness, fortitude, cleanliness, freedom from envy, and from passion for honor. How many of us like to be honored? When I walk into the room, I want everybody to look at me and praise me and acknowledge my presence. That is passion for honor. We need to get rid of that, you see. Forgiveness, so very difficult to do. But it is very important to forgive and forget for ourselves, for our peace of mind. Many times people say, oh, I forgive, but I never forget. But then who are we harming? Our own selves. You see, people do make mistakes. To err is human. We make mistakes. So, not forgiving others for whatever mistakes they may have made makes us restless. They may even forget that, they did something wrong to us. They may not even realize it or even forget. But if we don't forgive and forget, then we continue to remain restless. Next, Krishna talks about cleanliness. And cleanliness is important both inside and outside. Inside, that is possible through chanting the holy names of the Lord. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. When we do that, then the heart starts getting cleansed, the mind starts getting cleansed, the senses, the intelligence, the body gets cleansed. Of course, we clean our body every day outside, and, a bath or shower or whatever it may be. So, if we want to develop all these divine qualities so that it can lead us to liberation, then it's important to develop that quality of humility. What is humility? That one is not anxious to get the satisfaction of being honored by others. That is humility. So Krishna is giving us these 26 qualities and he calls them transcendental. That means they are beyond material platform. And if we cultivate them, what will be the result? Prabhupada explains that one will rise to the highest platform of self-realization. You see? So, of course, I have just given a small summary of all these 26 divine qualities. There's not much time, so whatever I could explain in this short time. But important thing to understand is that these qualities are liberating. That is the main point. So now we need to decide, is that my goal? Is that something I want to pursue? Yes, then we need to get guidance, get trained, and put these qualities into practice. And by practicing, we will develop those qualities that will lead us to liberation. So today we talked about these 26 qualities, and the remaining part of the chapter we will do next Sunday. So I'm going to end now. If anyone has any questions or comments, you are very welcome.